Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be making a video about the Springfield M1A and sort of the M14 family of rifles in general. So first off, I'm going to start with this gun right here. This, as far as I can tell, it is a just regular old rack grade Springfield M1A. It does have a national match aperture on the rear sight. In my opinion, that is of dubious utility. I don't, in a perfect world where you have a nice, bright, sunny day and your target is very well lit, probably would help you a little bit. But out here, this is like kind of real world lighting conditions. Out here on the range, I don't always have perfect lighting, especially in the summertime, whenever all this brush, all these trees here, when all these trees you see around me are all full of leaves, sometimes it makes seeing downrange with a sight like this tough. It's not as bad in the late fall to winter time like it is right now, but I guess for people who exclusively shoot targets like national match shooters, these national match sights are okay. Now, something that I really like about this rifle, like it really gets my juices going, is the stock on it. From what I can tell, this is a surplus M14 stock. Kind of zoom in a little bit here. It's got some old rack numbers right there. That's a 34. On this side, I don't know how well you can see it. Maybe the camera will focus. I hope it's focusing. Yeah, there's an old DOD stamp right there. And I actually don't know what this means right here. Maybe, yeah, there you go. You see it's a P is stamped in the wrist of the stock, or the pistol grip of the stock. I don't know what that means. If any of you know what that means, yeah, tell me down in the comments. But, so, this rifle here, it seems to shoot pretty well, actually. I've got if you'll check out my Pizza Box Marksman video, you'll actually get to see me shoot a 6-round group with it. But I've got the elevation on the rear sight bottomed out, and it still hits a little bit higher than I would like to. Maybe like 2.5 inches higher at 100 yards. I could live with that. Not the end of the world. But the windage, I was able to get the windage dead on. And it shot M80 ball. Pretty good, actually. A lot better than I would have expected this rifle to shoot M80 ball. So something I don't like about the gun, overall, in general, I like the gun. I really do. It's a cool gun, got a really cool stock on it. Really, it's a piece of American history. The M14 rifle, it's American as apple pie. I think as far as service rifles go, these iron sights are sans the national match rear sight, the regular old M14, M1 Garand style of sights. I think they're the best service rifle sights, period. In my opinion, better than the G3, better than the FAL, better than the M16. Well, I mean, M16 is really similar. It's as good as the M16 iron sights. M16A2, not the M16A1. I don't like the M16A1 iron sights that much. But fantastic iron sights on this gun. It shoots really good. It balances pretty well. It feels significantly lighter than an M1 Garand. When you pick it up and you shoulder it, it feels immediately lighter than M1 Garand. It points pretty well. Again, I could live without the national match rear sight. It's not my gun, so I'm not going to go taking it off. It points really well. It doesn't recoil very much, believe it or not. I mean, you're not shooting 5.56, but it's not like you're shooting a lightweight deer hunting rifle in 308. It's pretty tame on recoil. But a negative I would ding it for is the flash hider. Now, this flash hider, it rings. It rings a lot, and it rings really loudly. I think the only way to get it to stop ringing would be to cake it in carbon. But I'm going to just step in here and flip it with my finger, and you'll hear it. So, just listen to the ring here. And I'll tap it with the back of my knife, and you'll hear it even better. Now, when you're wearing electronic hearing protection and you're shooting this rifle, that ringing noise is present, and it's amplified when you're shooting with electronic hearing protection. Amplified to the point of being irritating, actually. So when I shoot this rifle, I just use the in-ear foam earplugs, or just, you know, simple over-ear like ear muffs, rather than anything like electronically, you know, rather than electronic hearing protection. But really, I mean, the trigger's pretty good on it too. It's definitely, I don't think it has a national match trigger. I mean, not that I would know what a national match trigger feels like anyway. I'm not an M14 guy. I'm not an M1A guy. You know, there's a whole world contained within the gun community about guys who just geek out over M14s or M1As, and that is not me. But pretty good trigger. Some take up on it. See if I can step in and show you guys a little better. It is unloaded, for the record. At least I hope it is. What if it goes bang? I'm just kidding. Anyway, so a little bit of take up, a little bit of a wall right there, a little bit of a wall. You see the wall, and then squeeze through a little bit more travel, a little bit, and then about a 5-pound brake. So definitely better than something like a G3 or an FAL's trigger for sure. I really, like, with some practice, I think you could get used to this trigger and shoot it really, really well. So I guess that's kind of what I wanted to say about this rifle individually. I like it. It's a cool gun. The rack numbers on the stock, the DOD stamp, just this old sort of beat up. You see right here, like the discoloration where people's hands have held this stock. I just like that stuff. Like, it's cool to me. You know, it kind of just like gets me excited. And so I guess I kind of want to talk about the M14 series of rifles in general now. I submit to you that the M14 series of rifles is unfairly judged in the gun community. And if you look at people who are not M14 guys, people who are not like geeking out about every little detail and aspect of these guns, normally it's pretty popular for people to say, oh, M14s suck. Why do we say the M14s suck? Well, if you look at the way that the rifle is used, designed to be used, the intended role for the rifle was a flawed premise to start with. There's no way in the world this is going to replace both the M1 Garand and BAR. Now, if you look at it, you know, squarely as an M4 or M1 Garand replacement, this is a great gun. It's better than the M1 Garand in about every way. The sights are the same, so that's good, but the trigger is a little bit better on these, in my experience. It feeds from a detachable box magazine rather than an internal on-block clip. It is certainly lighter than an M1 Garand, and it's not ammunition picky like an M1 Garand. Now, you know, if you go out and you shoot a steady diet of like 180 grain Hornady 30-06 through your M1 Garand, you're going to damage that rifle. As far as I know, M14s, M1As are not picky about ammunition. The gas system is better on an M1 Garand than it, or sorry, on an M14 M1A than it is on an M1 Garand. So it really is a product improved M1 Garand. Now, I think it'd be even better if they chambered it in a intermediate cartridge like 6.5 by 55 Swede. That would have been a slick rifle. But, you know, it's a product improved M1 Garand. In no way, shape, or form does that make it a good squad automatic weapon. I've never shot a full auto M14, but just the recoil of this M1A, I believe it when people say it's uncontrollable. You know, it's not a harsh recoiling rifle, but it does have stout recoil. Now, I'm a pretty experienced shooter, so recoil is not really a problem to me. But if you hand this to like an 18-year-old kid who's, you know, maybe he shot his dad's shotgun or his dad's 22, and you hand him a full auto 308 rifle, yeah, he's probably not going to be able to hit anything with it. And frankly, I doubt I'd be able to hit much beyond 25 feet with this thing on full auto anyway. So, but that doesn't necessarily make it a bad gun. I think it's unfair to say that the M14 is a bad gun because the people who designed it had a flawed notion of what it was designed to do. If you divorce your thinking from, okay, the M14 sucks because it's not a good sniper rifle, and it's not a good sniper rifle. The design is not a good sniper rifle. It was based off the M1 Garand, and the M1 Garand was never designed to be a sniper rifle. So yeah, it's not a good sniper rifle, and yeah, it's not a good squad automatic weapon because again, the M1 Garand was never designed to be a squad automatic weapon. So therefore, it's no surprise that a rifle based off of the M1 Garand does not make a good squad automatic weapon. But because it doesn't make a good sniper rifle, and because it doesn't make a good squad automatic weapon, a lot of people say, "Oh, it sucks," "Oh, it's not good." And yes, this rifle was the shortest lived service rifle in American history, but that doesn't make it a bad gun. If you look at, it's essentially a product improved M1 Garand. Really, that's what this gun is. And if I really think it's fair to judge, you should call this like an M1A, like M1 Garand A4 or something. That's really what it is. And if you look at the time from the M1 Garand's adoption to the time of the end of this rifle's service life, I think that's a better way to look at this system in general. Because, we don't look at the M1 Garand and say, "Oh, those suck. They only have 8-round capacity, they don't shoot minute of angle, and they're uncontrollable on fully automatic." We don't look at the M1 Garand and say that. And we don't look at the Italian BM59, another M1 Garand derivative, and say, "Oh, those guns suck." People who have BM59s, they tend to like them. Like, they really tend to like them a lot. So I don't think it's fair to look at the M14 and say, "Oh, that gun sucks." Yeah, it's not a good sniper rifle, but it was never really meant to be a sniper rifle. It was sort of shoehorned into that. Now, you can make these into a sniper rifle, like an M21, but man, you're going to spend thousands of dollars doing it. And even then, like, it's not going to be the best sniper rifle out there. You can, I suppose, you could make it into a better squad automatic weapon, but it's no longer this. You got the pistol grip and a bipod and a 30-round magazine, and it's no longer really the M14. It's, like a shoehorned squad automatic weapon. Now, I'm going to say something really controversial here, and I'm going to put forth to you that I think this was a better choice than the FAL and the G3. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people are going to disagree and say, "No, we should have chose the FAL. The Americans, we should have adopted the FAL, or we should have adopted the G3." And I don't think so. First off, an FAL is significantly heavier than this. Pick this gun up and then pick up an FAL, and immediately you're going to feel that a normal L1A1 style, full length barrel, full stock FAL is heavier than this gun. The triggers on FALs are worse, and the sights on an FAL are worse. I've held at least 3 different L1A1 FALs and an STG-58 FAL where the rear sight could be moved. You could just wiggle it around, and it did cause issues with accuracy. Now on an FAL, you have the front sight is on the barrel, and the rear sight is on the lower part of the receiver. So when you take the gun apart and you put it back together, in theory, your sights could shift. Now, on a brand new FAL, that's not a big deal. Go out, buy a brand new DSA STG-58, not a big deal. You get an old ratty, Imbel FAL, and mix it with your STG-58 or STG-57. No. Yeah, your STG-57. Austrian parts kit. You mix it with your Austrian parts kit, and you might have some trouble there. I've seen it. And I will say this rifle is better than the G3 for the big reason that the G3 is a heavy beast. It's a heavy beast, and when you shoot the G3, especially if you have the slim handguard, you put 20 rounds through that G3 in a rapid succession, and you don't have gloves, and you're going to be wishing that you did have gloves. Now, the G3 is a good system. It's a great rifle, but I don't think it's better than the M14. I really don't think it is. I think that this rifle is better than the G3 because it has better sights. It is a slimmer overall rifle. It's a more compact, like svelte rifle. And the trigger on this gun is leaps and bounds ahead of a G3 trigger. I know a lot of people like G3 sights, but I don't really think that they're not bad, but they're not that great either. I don't get the hype for G3 sights. I've shot a G3 on iron sights quite a bit, and I dislike them because if your rifle's not zeroed, you got to have an armorer's tool to zero your rifle. With this, all your adjustments are built into the sight itself. You don't have to bring in an outside tool to adjust your sights. So, and G3s are much stouter on recoil than this gun. This gun recoils a lot more softly, than a G3. So I don't think the United States made a big, we made a huge mistake by not adopting the G3 or the FAL for our service rifle. Because if you look at, the Vietnam War, we ditched the whole battle rifle concept, period. Yeah, I don't think this is a better gun than an M16, especially for the conflict in which those guns were used. I'd much rather have an M16 than an M14. And then if I was in the bush, if I was in the jungle, like Vietnam, I'd much rather have an AK than an M16 even. But neither here nor there. Overall, I know I'm starting to repeat myself here, but overall, I think that the M1A and the M14 family of rifles is unfairly judged. I don't think it gets looked at in a correct manner. Now, don't get me wrong, it is still a product of its time. It's not the most accurate, and even a cheap Palmetto State Armory AR-10 is going to outshoot this gun. Even a cheap AR-10 will outshoot this gun and be lighter weight and have better ergonomics, and it'll be easier to mount an optic to it, and so on and so forth. So it is still a product of its time. It's not a perfect rifle. It's not the best battle rifle either. I think the AR-10 is probably still a better rifle than this, but again, that's neither here nor there. But overall, I think that the M1A series of rifles, if you look at it for what it is a semi-automatic 308 magazine-fed iron sight rifle. If you take it at that, it's a good rifle. I think it's a great rifle. Now, if you look at it as like it's not a good sniper rifle, so it's not a good rifle, I think that's flawed thinking. Or it's not a good squad automatic weapon, or it's uncontrollable and fully automatic, so therefore it sucks. I think that's the wrong way to look at this rifle. If you take this rifle, take it out of context, and just look at it objectively as a rifle, I think it's a pretty good one overall. But guys, I just want to say thank you for tuning into the channel. And sorry I'm not uploading as regularly as I should. I'm just a guy, I'm a blue-collar guy. I work 2 jobs, trying to raise a family and make it to the gym occasionally, even though it doesn't look like it. But, yeah, I mean, time is not something I have a lot of. So if you guys would, please do like the video. Even better, comment on the video. Comments really drive up the algorithm, really help me in the algorithm. So please comment. And if you feel like it, share it. But and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. I'll see you guys later.